At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality bikes, which might lead to another discovery. Getting back on the saddle isn't always comfortable. Good news is Sierra has massage guns. And chafe wipes, too. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
What is Cafe Mocha? Cafe Mocha is experts, celebrities.
What's up? This is Bell Bib DeVoe.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
This is In Vogue.
This is India Ari.
So much more. All from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Cafe Mocha.
Celebrating 15 years of Cafe Mocha with Lonnie Love Yo-Yo. I'm Angelique. One of the originators of the show is with us, MC Lyte. We've been hearing and seeing her work everywhere. One of our Cafe Mocha sisters. Welcome to the show, MC Lyte. How are you? Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you, too. That's right. Let me tell you, so much stuff is going on right now. Like, the New Year is like an afterthought at this point. But it is
true.
a pleasure to be here with all of you ladies. Thank you to my sister in the name of hip-hop, Yo-Yo, for getting me on here.
Well, first of all, we can't not start this conversation without asking, are you fine? Are you okay? We have all these wildfires happening in California.
Yes, it is a bit hectic. Well, I can tell you now that there's an HOA chat that's going on right now with 2 fires spotted, one on Topanga and one on Ventura. So my day in and day out right now is just trying to stay clear and be in the know because I've got my mom with me. So we have our bags packed at the door and in the car. And if they tell us we need to evacuate at any given moment, we will be ready. We will be ready. Mm-hmm.
How are you mentally handling it? Like, because you are so resilient in everything that you do, but how are you handling all of this?
You know, I don't even know that I've let it really sit and settle. I just know that at any moment, like I'm here in my office and I'm working, and I can turn to the right and realize, oh my God, there are neighborhoods of people who cannot just be in the middle of their office, in their home, or in the middle of the bathroom, or in the bed, or in all of the things that we take for granted. So yes, I don't know that I've let it really sink in because I don't know that I'd be able to move. Mm-hmm. So I've still got a mom to take care of. I got to take care of myself. Right. I got to move around. There's things that need to be done, but in the midst of it all, my heart goes out to all of those suffering because of this loss.
And with that said, you know, we still have to work.
Yes.
Bills still happen. No one is giving a moratorium on bills. So You're still working. And there's this wonderful tour that you're working on for 2025 called the One of One Reflections of Lyte tour. Tell me about it.
Well, this tour really is to get out there and get hand in hand with the fans that have spent years, showing support or love in some kind of fashion to me as a hip hop artist. I haven't been out on one of these in forever. Most of the times I'm coming to cities, I'm with 4 or 5 acts. I've got about 15 minutes to do what I do. And on this particular show, it's all Lyte. So I get to go down memory lane. I really get to explore the catalog. I get to have some fun with the newer recordings from One of One. And I'm just going to take them on a voyage. I tell people they need to come in their 90s gear.
Yes.
We've got, VIP packages for meet and greets. I'd like to take pictures and do a whole lot. I think I have to find and touch my audiences because my audience doesn't listen to music the same way that everyone else does today.
What made you want to take your career in your own hand? Because, hip hop has just been taking its own road. And so many people for so long have just been sitting back and letting this new generation just dominate the history of hip hop. I thought it was so special to see you putting this concert together for yourself, which I know so many people want to be intimate with you. What made you decide to do this intimacy concert?
Well, I think all of what you just said helped to make the steps for us to take it to say, you know what, we're going to have to really take this bull by the horn, because a lot of our other hip hop generations, I guess it's about five of us, it's about five generations now. The youngest generation, you know, they have DSPs, they listen to their music, they don't mind other people programming music for them. I come from a generation like, we are going to put together our music on our iPods, and we are going to listen to what it is that we want to listen to.
Right.
We're not all about discovering new music from artists that we know. For like, I mean, the truth is, if I'm listening to the Isleys, I want to hear the Isleys I know. I'm not really into the new Isleys or the new Earth, Wind and Fire. I want the stuff that's going to make me feel what I felt when I was younger. And that's what our people, so all of that to say, it's about getting out and touching the people. I did a few listening sessions in some various places, and people were out and the places were packed, but it was simply because they love MC Lyte. It wasn't about new music. So now I've got to tell them there's new music.
And speaking of new music, Lyte, you know, a lot of artists of our generation, you know, feel like there isn't a place for us because, you know, I've heard talk about there's no award shows for us anymore. There's no place for us to be placed. How do you feel about that?
Well, I would call that false, because we're involved in quite a few of the award ceremonies. So I don't know that I too much would adhere to that. But what I would say is this is a perfect time for us to actually start again. Etch a new way, pave a new, you know, path. And me going out on the road with like literally putting as many shows as I can in 10 days each month. So I go out for 10 days. I do 8 shows in February. I do the same thing in March. I do the same thing in April. And really, it's about causing a new reaction or starting a new way of presenting yourself, your music, your show, and letting your fans know that they're not just going to get always the same thing every time. And I think if it's done that way, you're able to build what you once had when you had the support of a major record label. Now you can really go out there and own what it is that you're able to create. And that's what we're after with this.
MC Lyte's tour kicks off on the 13th in Pittsburgh, hitting Richmond, Philly, Atlanta. More coming up on Cafe Mocha.
Standing in solidarity from a woman's perspective. It's Cafe Mocha.
This is Cafe Mocha with Emmy Award-winning talk show host Lonnie Love, hip-hop legend Yo-Yo, and me, I'm Angelique, along with another hip-hop legend and originator of Cafe Mocha, MC Lyte.
She's back with our highly anticipated One-of-One Reflections of Lyte Tour 2025. And when we talk about, you know, hip-hop and how, you know, you took it into your own hands. Let's talk about Sunny Girl Incorporated and My Block Records and your involvement in that. And why did you want to go independent?
Okay, well, thank you so much for that question, Lonnie. Sunny Girl Inc. is a company that I've had since 1997. It was just a loan-out company. And then when I decided that I really wanted to do business, management and production, that I needed to take that loan-out company and really do something with it. And that's when I hired a COO, who is Lynn Richardson, who is the Medea of money. But what we were able to do is parlay that and do TV shows and development of film and television and quite a few things. Now, how My Block came into it is Warren Campbell, who's a dear friend of mine. I met him. Actually, he was one of the A&R people up at the label where Yo-Yo and I were signed. But he didn't work on my projects, but I knew that he was there. We had we shook hands, so on and so forth. But much later down the line, I met him through Heavy D. And once Heavy D passed, Warren and I had a couple of opportunities to speak. I went by his church, California Worship, and I was a member by the second week. And we love music. So when we started talking, we really understood who Heavy D meant to both of us. and we kind of found heavy in both of us with dealing with one another. And so we just started doing music for fun. Let's see what happens. I called Yo-Yo into the studio a couple of times. Of course, Yo-Yo show up with a mic in her hand already.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, for period. So what happened is we started building this music, and before long we were like, oh my God, we got to do something with this. Everybody that we called showed up to get on the record. It was just one of those things that it had a flow to it. All I could say is it was God. I got out of the way and let him lead it. And we've got a great inspirational record that aims to not only, satisfy the folks who know MC Lyte, but also those newcomers who are, ready to hear something fresh and new. They all want to be a part of the 90s in a big way anyway. So they get all of that with this record.
I love that. And, let's talk about also your career as an announcer. I mean, if there's a award show going on, I
It's
got
your
to
voice.
have my
It's
baby.
your voice.
I'm like, I don't feel good unless I see MC Lyte announcing, sitting behind with a notepad and
You know
and
what?
doing it right. How did you get into that?
Let me tell you, it's so funny because there are shows that I've never done, but now that I do quite a few of them, people will say, oh my God, the American Music Awards are on and I don't hear Lyte. I'm like, I have never done voiceover for the American Music Awards, but you can let them know and I'll show up. It started with VH1 Hip Hop Honors. There was a show that Vivica and Mos Def were hosting. I was the backstage correspondent. And at the last minute, Yasin Bey, who used to be Mos Def, decides he wants his band to play. And VH1 was like, we didn't agree to that. And he was like, okay, well, then I'm not doing the show. And he left. And so Vivica had her part. I had my part, but then they also gave me Mos Def's part. So I think in the face of being able to deliver at a crucial time, they began to just shoot me things to do VO for, and then it turned into the BET Awards, and it just grew from there.
How hard is it, though? You do it live, and what if you mess up people's names? Do you practice? Are there pronouncers? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That is funny. I get all my practicing done when I do most of what is recorded. A lot of the bumpers we do live. And then a show like the NAACP Image Awards, a lot of that is done live because people win stuff on the spot, and you have to say, this is the third win, or this is the second, all of that stuff.
Right.
But I'm actually headed to do a voiceover on Tuesday for the Grammy. So a lot of it is done which then gets me familiar with the newcomers and these new pronunciations of names, because there are quite a few. Believe it or not, the Emmys are probably the hardest because I just may not be familiar with all of those actors from various places in the world.
Yeah, when I'm on that red carpet doing interviews and it's live, and you know me and my pronunciations, I'm like, woo, I have to. I'm like, whoa. It's like
it definitely is tricky.
Yeah, but you are truly good at it. And I saw you rapping on a porch. What was that all about?
That's a show called The Front Porch. I guess they took a memo out of the book of The Tiny Desk.
Okay.
So the gentleman with Front Porch, he's really making a lot of moves. It's a very well done production with crane cameras and all kinds of stuff outside of the house. The neighborhood is very cool with it happening. So it just was a great experience. And then in addition to that, he's made a deal now with the Kennedy Center. So he's taken the Front Porch to the Kennedy Center.
Oh,
which
wow.
would be fun. Yeah, it'd be fun for him. But it's a great group of musicians that are just doing something different, and people really enjoy it.
It's Cafe Mocha on the line. Our girl MC Lyte talking about a variety of things. And the one thing I did want to talk to you, and you seem to maintain, and it works well for you, is your health. In 2025, there's so many of us that need to, really pay attention to our health. And I just wanted to know what are you doing? Because you continue to look great, Lyte.
Thank you so much, Lonnie. And really, I can't stress drinking water enough. Like getting that water in is so important.
And she's
That's
not kidding.
One, two,
you used to come to the studio with the big old thing of water and just be drinking.
I know, just ridiculous. Just ridiculous with that big old jug. I don't have that anymore, but I do take time to drink water. And then in addition to that, I'm in the middle of the Daniel's fast. So I know everybody likes a good cocktail every now and again, but it is poison. We do have to realize that. And so the more we can drink water to dilute that and give our body, it's great to have a good time, toast up to some champagne once in a while, but the truth is we need to be able to get that water in to give us that healthy glow, but also to just clean our systems and detox. And so I'm on a Daniel's fast right now, which is no sweets. So I'm trying to keep away from everything that can mess up my fast, with my church.
Right.
Who's keeping Daniel from cheating?
Who knows? Jesus. Jesus, girl. And outside of that, make sure you, I can tell you right now, Yo-Yo needs to have workout with Yo-Yo, because the way she throw that thing out the window when she's on stage, she makes everybody work out.
Lyte's been telling me, Lyte and Lonnie are my mothers. I see you have been really enjoying this new introduction to your life, and I love seeing it. I know people who've loved you all of your life love seeing it. I love to see you sashay across the stage. I've seen you getting a little looser. Well, is it this new relationship that's making you sashay like that?
You said a little looser. Because I'm just tight. Is that what it is? I'm just tight, Yo-Yo.
I love to see, you're very private. You don't post your relationships, but lately you've posted your new relationship. And I love seeing that you're smiling a little bit more, a lot more.
You know what, Yo-Yo, that is so wonderful that say I'm actually single again. So for you to see that smile on my face, listen, you know what? If it ain't right, gotta drop it tonight.
That's right. It ain't nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, well, and the truth is, God has big plans for me. So I got to stay on par with where it is that he has me headed. And so I'm single again. I'm dating, and most of all, I'm not afraid to ask questions. So I would tell all the ladies right now, whether you've been in a relationship for a long time or not, we should all be in agreement that questions are a good thing because they allow another person to know who you are. Mm-hmm. Yes, amen to that.
Amen. Pull a roller out. I'm coming over.
Okay. Whatever you need, I'll be here for you.
Lyte, one of the things that excited me, besides your role in Queen of the South, which I absolutely love, and you were so tough in, you play a great, I don't want to say cop, but I
was a villain in Queen of the South. I was a villain.
But you were I don't want to say like a cop, but you were, the villain bodyguard type thing.
Oh, you know what? I was a killer in that. I was a killer in that. I'm glad you saw it as something that was almost positive. But
I saw it as positive because it was a really good role, and I love seeing you.
I was getting rid of the bad guy,
especially since your personal attitude is so totally different than this character. Of course. But the other thing that was exciting to me is that you were connected with the revival of The Wiz. And I thought, oh, why not? Why not? Why shouldn't we be bringing back Broadway theater? So how did you get involved with, the revival of certain Broadway shows?
Yeah, totally. With The Wiz, honestly, that was common. Common COO and my COO are sorority sisters. And they just happened to be talking one day, and she shared what was on Common's next page for that particular quarter of the year. And then, my COO was like, oh, really? How do we get involved with that? So they did an introduction, and we talked to the main people at the Wiz and said we were interested in producing. And so they had us look at all of the paperwork for what it took to come on board as a producer. And that's basically how it happened. Wonderful, wonderful show. Oh, my God. It was great. I went down to the Hippodrome and saw it where it first started back in the day. And that was where they kicked off that tour. So it felt good to be a part of something that was so very well done. And, of course, one of those musicals that everyone loves. And so I was just blessed to be a part of it.
And it was really good. It was
good. It was really good. Well, tickets for the One of One Reflections of Lyte tour can be found at mclyte.info. And also you can stay up to date with MC Lyte on Instagram at MC Lyte. And you know what? She's got a bunch of tour dates. She's going to be in Pittsburgh and Harrisburg and Atlanta and St. Louis and Chicago and just wonderful venues. So please go out and support our sister, MC Lyte. Thank you so much for coming in. Catching
we
up.
love you.
Oh,
shout out to the Steelers in Pittsburgh.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for all the continued love. And I'm wishing y'all the best of a 2025. And hopefully I'll run into all of you soon.
We will do that. Thank you, Lyte.
Give my girl Sheila a big hug. All right. I'll talk to you
will.
soon.
All righty.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
MC Lyte's tour kicks off on the 13th in Pittsburgh, hitting Richmond, Philly, Atlanta, Chicago. Check out the dates, see if she's coming your way.
We're at Cafe Mocha Radio. Socially savvy on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Serving up more Cafe Mocha on the way. Standing in solidarity from a woman's perspective. It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha, radio from a woman's perspective. Isaac Hayes III is our guest, and his family is mad that Trump keeps using the classic crossover hit, Hold On, I'm Coming. It was made famous by Sam and Dave, but Isaac Hayes helped write it. Joining us right now is Isaac Hayes III and his lawyer, James L. Walker Jr. Welcome, both of you. Thanks for joining Cafe Mocha.
How you doing? Glad to be here.
How you doing?
All right. Trump has been using the Sam and Dave song, Hold On, I'm Coming, for a while now. How long has he been using it, Isaac? And how many times has he used it? Do you know?
The first time I recall him using it was May of 2022 after the Uvalde mass shooting at the NRA convention. Since then, I think we've counted maybe 134 times, that he's used the song minimum. Between then and now.
What was your motivation behind the decision to file a lawsuit against Donald Trump?
Well, obviously he would not stop using the song after we had sent a cease and desist earlier, and they were still using the song. And so the last time that he used the song when he was in Atlanta, I just said, I had to seek legal counsel because obviously we want him to stop using the song, and we don't want to be associated with Donald Trump. So that was the motivation behind doing that.
We're talking to Isaac Hayes III about the lawsuit against Donald Trump and the use of his dad's song. Obviously, he's not the only one you guys are suing. There are other people listed in there as well. Why and who are they, James, the attorney?
This is James, the attorney. We named the Republican National Committee. We named 2 super PACs. We named the American Conservative Union because they put on a lot of these rallies. They are co-hosts. They are sponsors. They are tweeting out the videos using the song illegally. And we felt they were culprits as well. And we also named Donald Trump Presidential Inc., which is the corporation he set up that kind of runs his campaign. And that's the only attorney we've heard from the Presidential Inc. organization. No one else has yet responded, but we can tell you now, today a judge announced that we will get a hearing on September 3rd.
Great.
And we're going to announce it tomorrow to everybody. Our request for an emergency hearing was granted this morning at 10 o'clock, and we will be notifying all 6 of the defendants that they are to be present, or the judge will rule, without them.
And what is the ruling? Like, what is it that you want? Do you want a settlement, or do you want just them to stop the playing the song?
At this first hearing, and Isaac can jump in here if there's more, but at this first hearing, we want an injunction, an injunctive relief, which will prevent them from ever using the song. And then the second part of our lawsuit is about $3 million for all the illegal uses that they've had since June, I know of for sure, and since 2022, which Isaac has followed for sure.
Trump is always getting sued. This probably is nothing to him. What has been the response from the Republicans in general?
Well, from his lawyer, they thought they had a license, but they have yet to be able to produce a license in 10 days of asking them. Oh, their response seems to be a little misleading or misinformed because they don't seem to understand how copyright law works. And similar to the lawyer, the public, when you look on social media, they keep telling Isaac, why are you charging at a free event? And they don't understand under copyright law, whether free or not free, this is not charitable purposes. So Isaac can use it. There's no fair use argument here. Where you use some music somewhere and you say it's fair use or it's a parody. This is an event that Donald Trump is having to raise money and to campaign and to do rallies to raise money. And Isaac Hayes and company should be paid for that use under copyright law.
Give me my money.
So how does it feel, Isaac, to hear, we all loved your father and his creative work. When you first, heard that it was Donald Trump using his creativity, how did it make you feel?
Well, I definitely didn't like it. I've said, on multiple occasions that I am the brother to 7 sisters. My father was the father to 7 daughters, 7 black women, and Donald Trump has been found liable of sexual abuse. He says disgusting things about women, especially black women, calling them dogs, the stuff he said about Vice President Harris. And so I know for certain that my father would not want his music in any way, shape, or form associated with someone of Donald Trump's character. And so that's really, this isn't political for me. This is more about the character of Donald Trump and the way that he behaves, as opposed to making it something, political or in that nature. So I just don't want my father's brand associated with someone like Donald Trump.
And Attorney Larry, what's the likelihood of winning this lawsuit?
Well, I think the likelihood is 150% because copyright law is so clear. Yeah, we think the likelihood is 150% because we've done the research and there's been a litany of cases where people have used copyright like this or someone's song like this and they've taken it to court and been victorious. The defendants usually try to settle because they realize under copyright law, you get paid $150,000 for every single infringement. And wow. Isaac has anywhere between 30 to 100, depending on where they can produce a license. I do believe, Ms. Lonnie, that they had a license probably in 2022, but they probably were unaware that Isaac terminated it, as did David Porter, the co-writer. So once it gets terminated, like anything you see on TV, you can't just keep airing it without a license.
Right.
You got to have permission. And we have ample proof here that we sent letters. Isaac has been tweeting. BMI's done their part. Universal's told them. All the people who would be involved have made it clear to them Isaac Hayes and his estate does not want you using this song. And I think because no one has sued before, I think they never saw this coming.
Right.
That Isaac, would you agree? That I don't think they ever thought you would sue them.
Right.
So I would say that the unique scenario that we are in is typically copyrights are owned by publishers, and publishers want to remain neutral in the way that they deal with these types of situations because they're publicly traded companies, so they're not Republican or Democrat or anything like that. We are in the unique position in a situation where my father's catalog, his copyrights terminated, and so Hold On I'm Coming was written in 1966. And so we got those copyrights back 56 years after he wrote the song, which was actually March of 2022. So at that point, when we decided that, we are the copyright holders, we're the ones that can determine who uses his music and who doesn't. And so for that very reason, we're able to take it a step beyond what most people do. I think you've heard a lot of celebrities, in fact, say that they don't agree with the fact that Donald Trump is using their music. They can do that as much as they want to, but they typically sometimes are not the writers of their songs. And so they can disagree as much as they want to, but they have no legal authority to be able to do so. So given the fact that we are the legal copyright holders, we don't have to abide by those rules. And especially with the way that Donald Trump behaves, I don't have to abide by those rules. I am the copyright holder. My brothers and sisters are the copyright holders, and our family are the copyright holders. So we're the ones that are taking the action, I think, a step further beyond, because most people are not in a position to do this.
Wow. Is there anything, Attorney James, that the public can do to help?
Yeah, I think the public can start voicing their frustration for all artists, all songwriters, including Isaac Hayes and company, that this is unacceptable, and they demand that it be taken down. I think the public can start, petitioning the publishers, the record labels, to stop allowing Team Trump or any other team to use Celine Dion's music, or Pharrell, or who else, Isaac? It's a whole list of them. Guns N' Roses, Bruce Springsteen. Like, the publishers, because they're a publicly traded company, they're kind of looking the other way and acting like they're ignorant about how upsetting this is for these artists and songwriters. And I'm told Bruce Springsteen had to basically threaten to sue his publishers, allegedly, to get them to stop allowing Trump and others to use his music.
Right.
So
I mean,
you won't hear Born in the USA.
He can use Kid Rock. Use them. Oh, they don't have good songs.
They don't have
good songs. When we come back, we're going to talk about Isaac Hayes III's fan base app. This is Cafe Mocha.
We're talking to Isaac Hayes III and his lawyer, James Walker Jr. It's Cafe Mocha.
Here's your dose of espresso. Strong, hot news now.
This is the Espresso. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett was pushing to protect civil rights. She got into it with a congresswoman from South Carolina who threatened to take it outside.
So that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman, the committee is not in order.
Order. Is it allowed in the rules for a member to incite violence against another member? I mean, she wants to take it outside.
Anyway, tennis champ Naomi Osaka was in Australia last week, worried about her home back in Beverly Hills.
It's so funny. I was watching the fire map, and the fire's like 3 blocks from my house. I had someone go and get my daughter's birth certificate and all that.
Now, if you saw the documentary Where's Wendy Williams, you can understand why her conservator says she's incapacitated. But Charlamagne the God recently talked to her.
She didn't skip a beat. She actually said to me when she called me, she was like, "Why are you answering the phone like we just spoke yesterday?" Like, she wanted me to be more excited. There ain't nothing incapacitated about Wendy Williams.
That's the Espresso.
This is Cafe Mocha. Radio from a woman's perspective.
It's Cafe Mocha with Lonnie Love, Yo-Yo, and Angelique. On the line, he is royalty in the R&B world, the son of Isaac Hayes III, suing Trump, but also, more importantly, maybe, is his latest creative idea. It's called Fanbase, and it's an app for artists. Isaac, can you tell us more about Fanbase, what it is, who it's for, how you came up with it?
Yeah, so Fanbase is a social media platform for the entire planet. Any person that's on Instagram or TikTok, YouTube, audio chat app, X Spaces, Fanbase was built for you in the same fashion. The difference is that the platform does not suppress the view of the user, because these other platforms are run off advertising. And so therefore they have to limit your views, because if you could reach as many people, millions of people, then the brands would come and pay the user directly and not run ads on Instagram. So therefore, that's what content suppression is about. So if you ever wonder why, somebody with 15 million followers only gets 100,000 views on their video or 200,000 views on their video, that's because it's intentionally being limited so that brands can't come and pay them to run ads on their page. Because once you added video to social media, everybody became a television network. It changed the entire way that social media works. And so my decision to found Fanbase was, one, to allow people to have followers for free, but also a subscription component where people can subscribe to you just like they would subscribe to Netflix, and also tip you for your content.
Oh, wow.
What sets Fanbase base apart from other social media platforms, and how does it empower content creators, especially within the Black community?
Well, I like to make the definition that as of 2024, every single person on social media is a content creator. So I use the word users because we're all content creators. If you comment under a post, you're a content creator. You know what I'm saying? You are creating content that keeps people locked on posts that still they run ads in between. What separates Fanbase, I think more importantly, is that the platform was founded and actually allowed users to have equity in the platform. So I did something called equity crowdfunding to raise money. It's very hard to raise capital when you're a Black startup. Less than half of 1% of all funding from VCs went to Black founders in 2023. So less than half of 1%. I use equity crowdfunding, which is something that Barack Obama and Joe Biden put into law, which allows me to raise money from the general public. So anybody that's listening to the program can actually invest in Fanbase and have equity in it. I've done 4 of these rounds. The first 3, we raised a total of $10 million to build the platform and continue to scale it. And right now I'm raising $17 million on a platform called Start Engine. So if anybody's interested in investing and having equity in Fanbase, you can go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. What's important about that is the minimum to invest is $399. What's more important is that Black culture is the economic engine of all things culture, but especially on social media. So we need to own the infrastructures of the things that we create. I can give you a litany of inventions by Black people, but we do not own the infrastructure, such as ice cream, invented by a Black man, but we don't own Breyers or Edie's. I can give you the golf tee, invented by a Black man, but we don't own Titleist. I can give you the alarm system by a Black woman, but we're not ADT and we're not Brinks. We're not Ring. So my intention was to build the infrastructure first, as all these other platforms are social media infrastructure, and then the creativity and the song and the dance and the humor and the wit of the Black community come on these platforms and make them $100 billion, $300 billion, $1 trillion companies. And there's a small group of people that have equity in these companies that go on to have billions and billions of dollars and then build more apps and put their kids and grandkids and great grandkids through school and college and build generational wealth. So this is an intentional play also to spark generational wealth in the Black community by owning a social media platform that we use. And I tell everybody, nothing speaks better for Fanbase than itself. The app itself is the best advertisement ever. This is a real deal social media platform built with solid technology, amazing individuals that I work with, and we've been able to build something fantastic. So I encourage all of you who are listening and all of you ladies definitely to come on Fanbase and build accounts. We've also filed patents to make it easy to join Fanbase on a couple of features. One is the fact that I filed a patent on something called content migration, which allows you to migrate all of your content from either Instagram or TikTok to Fanbase. And then it stays on Instagram, but all your content is imported. So your captions, your videos, your photos, even the stuff in your bio just imports over to your Fanbase page. So you're not starting with a blank profile. You can actually pick up right where you left off on Instagram or TikTok and bring it over to Fanbase. And now your content is somewhere where people can tip it that you've never been able to have before on Instagram. And you're making money on content that you never had a chance to make money before and have subscribers.
Again, check out the new social media app for content creators who want to get paid for their hard work. It's called Fanbase.app.
Want a little more of our flavor? Stay right there. It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha. On the line, Isaac Hayes III, talking about his app, Fanbase, and how to make money. Also on the line is his attorney, James L. Walker Jr. And once again, how can we go? What's the URL?
Oh, so to invest, go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. The minimum to invest is $399. When you get there and you start to invest, you might see numbers that are higher to invest. Those are the average minimums that people are investing, like $1,000, $900. You got to manually enter $399 because I know that like $399 is a lot of money. And so, but I want people to understand that this used to be illegal. So all these apps that you know of, and that you're a part of, these platforms, they never, ever, ever allowed anybody to have equity in them the same way that we're allowing you to have equity in Fanbase. This was illegal. This was illegal before the Jobs Act, which is what Obama and Biden signed into law before 2015. This was illegal. So that's why it's extremely important that, we take advantage of being able to invest in startups, especially tech startups, because that's the fastest way to grow wealth is through technology. You see NVIDIA, you see Facebook, 10 of the top wealthiest men on earth are in tech. right? You take the top wealthiest men on the planet, eight of them are in tech companies. Larry Page, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all these people that are part of technology companies. And so I want black people to be able to have, millions and multi-millions and billions of dollars in the tech industry as well, but we're going to own it this time with infrastructure.
Is there a way? You log in and the process if you wanted to invest?
So Start Engine, so startengine.com/fanbase is a separate website from Fanbase. So Start Engine is an equity crowdfunding site. So there's other businesses on there that people invest in, but that's the way that you invest in Fanbase is go to startengine.com/fanbase, and then that's where you invest. And so we've managed to, like I said, we've managed to raise $10 million in our first 3 rounds, and then $2 million of this new $17 million round we've raised. And so I want to have as many people on the cap table as possible, so that we, like I said, I'm tired of us being, customers to our own creations. I'm tired of us, being the ones that make these clothing brands, these record labels, these apps extremely popular, but then on the back end, the cap table and all the owners of these platforms are people that don't look like us, don't regard us, and then when it comes time to really step up, when we have social justice issues or we have things that go on in our community, there's no money for us to do that, and so we're going to have to save ourselves in the aspect of investing in ourselves, taking some of this $1.8 trillion worth of black spending power, this annual black spending power, and putting it into technology companies, $500 at a time if we need to, but being able to scale those platforms to multi-billion-dollar platforms, then exit, and then we do it over and over again.
If you go to fanbase.app, it's a free next generation social media app. It has all that information if you go to fanbase.app, and it can answer a lot of your questions. Isaac Hayes III and James L. Walker Jr., thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming in and stepping into Cafe Mocha.
Thank you for having us, man. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it. And Yo-Yo, you can't play with my Yo-Yo was the jam. So
Thank you so much. Thank you, classic.
Oh, Lord. We're going to hear that all day.
Here's some tea.
Oh,
Your
Lord.
dad and I lived at the Harmon Cove Towers together.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
Make sure you check out MC Lyte's Reflections of Light tour that kicks off February 13th. That's the show. You can reach us on all platforms at Cafe Mocha Radio. Cafe Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Super Radio. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. For comments, booking, or more information, visit cafemocharadio.com.